Now let's start with the three lions, talking about England's camp, and it's all about Raheem Sterling. Yes, Raheem Sterling is set to fly back to Qatar tomorrow, which is Friday, in a return to the English camp, and that's after he left the camp on Sunday to attend to personal matters. Remember, the Chelsea forward was rather in Qatar when his home was burgled with jewelry and wristwatches worth over £300,000 carted away. Right there during the course of that robbery, he had his wife and 3 young kids at home, and as a result, he was quite affected emotionally, mentally, and just had to fly back to England to check on his family. The good news is there are no threats of violence involved, and it's just a simple case of theft. According to the police, you have the Surrey police still investigating. As at this moment, they are yet to make an arrest in connection to the robbery. But you have Raheem Sterling, confident of making a return back to the English camp. And for Raheem Sterling, it's yet to see if he will, get a starting berth against France in the quarterfinal. Still talking about FIFA World Cup, let's talk about Cristiano Ronaldo. Yes, he's been in the news for not necessarily the wrong reasons, but at the same time, it's been in the news for quite some time, over the last 4 or 5 days. The latest is that the Portuguese Football Federation has denied threats or denied reports that Ronaldo threatened to leave the World Cup as a result of the bench role he got, during the round of 16 victory over Switzerland. Remember, Portugal won their first 2 matches of their group and had qualified for the knockout stages when Ronaldo was substituted in the 3rd match against South Korea in the 65th minute. And as a result of that substitution, he made some gestures, and that outburst didn't go down well with his coach, Fernando Santos, who Ronaldo has worked with for quite some time. And as a result of that, he got benched, although the coach said it was due to tactical reasons, despite saying that he did not like the outburst. Ronaldo was benched for the first time since 2008. That's a 14-year span that Ronaldo has been a starter with the Portuguese national team. But the last match he got benched, and his replacement, Goncalo Ramos, scored a hat-trick, and that probably signals that Portugal can definitely do without Ronaldo in terms of their attacking options. But that didn't go down well with him, and as a result, there were reports that the former Manchester United man threatened to leave the World Cup, but the Portuguese Football Federation has denounced that. There were also reports that during the training session after the match, the starting players were allowed to engage in a lighter session, which Ronaldo wanted to participate in, but he was told to engage in the substitutes training session, which had to do with more strenuous work, as it were. All of these just showing that not everything is well within the Portuguese camp, especially concerning Cristiano Ronaldo. So let's move away from that, but still talking about the FIFA World Cup. Yes, a sad one, it must be said. FIFA has confirmed that a migrant worker died during the group stages of this year's tournament. Now, remember, prior to the tournament itself, it was all about the treatment of migrant workers, and there were several reports. A report even had it that over 6,000 migrant workers had been killed, or had died rather, during the course of the construction work for the tournament. But those numbers are definitely a bit controversial and have been contradicted over the last few weeks and months. But FIFA has confirmed that a Filipino actually died during the group stages. Remember, the group stages of this year's World Cup began from November 20th to December 2nd, and the migrant worker we know is a Filipino national who fell to his death while carrying out repairs at a resort used as a training base by the Saudi Arabian team. And this happened, as I said earlier, during the group stages. Quite a sad one. FIFA has not given us further details. Even the host nation, Qatar, has not also stated what happened in terms of how the fall came to be. But the Filipino national unfortunately died after that fall while carrying out repairs at a resort used by the Saudi Arabian national team. This incident will definitely raise concerns once again about the treatment of migrant workers by Qatar. It would also raise concerns about Qatar's human rights record, among others. So for the Warriors, yes, it was a 123 to 124 loss to the Utah Jazz. Talking about the Golden State Warriors losing to the Utah Jazz at the wee hours of today. And for the Jazz, as I said earlier, Laurie McCann was also out missing for the Jazz. You also had Mike Conley out due to injuries. For the Golden State Warriors, you had Steph Curry battling sore ankle and missed out on that. Draymond Green had a tight left hip, so he couldn't play. Andrew Wiggins was also battling with a right adductor strain, and as a result couldn't play in this one. So it was Jordan Poole who top scored for them with 36 points. You had Jonathan Kuminga with 24 points. Klay Thompson, one of the Splash Brothers, with 22 points for the Warriors. While for the Jazz, Simon Fontecchio, who got the winning bucket, scored 18 points. Jordan Clarkson had 22 points. He top scored for the Jazz, but surprisingly also got ejected due to the squabble he found himself in alongside Jonathan Kuminga. You had Malik Beasley score 18 points as well for the Utah Jazz, who ensured that they took their record to the start of the season to 15 wins and 12 losses. For the Golden State Warriors, they are now 13 wins and 13 losses to the start of their title defense in what has been a topsy-turvy season for the defending champions. Now they next take on the best team in the NBA this season, the Boston Celtics, on Saturday. That's a game that they need all their top stars to play and also be in top form to stand a chance to win, because the Boston Celtics are seemingly unbeatable at this point in time. For the Utah Jazz, they'll be taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves on Friday, and that's going to be a reunion for Rudy Gobert, who left the franchise for the Minnesota Timberwolves during the trade season. It's going to be a reunion. Let's see if they will spoil the homecoming for Rudy Gobert, as it were. Let's move away from there and talk about the Lakers. The Los Angeles Lakers were also in action at the wee hours of this morning, and they had LeBron James out due to injury. You had Anthony Davis out as well due to illness. LeBron James was battling with a sore left ankle, while Davis was battling with a non-COVID related illness, and Patrick Beverley as well, the guard, did not play due to a right knee. So a short-handed Lakers were beaten 126 to 113 points as Pascal Siakam led the Raptors to victory with 25 points. He also gathered 10 boards in there. You had Fred VanVleet contributing 25 points. OG Anunoby also scored 23 points, while Gary Trent Jr. had 18 points for the Raptors. For the Lakers, Dennis Schroeder top scored with 18 points. Russell Westbrook as well as Bryant had 16 points apiece, while Looney Walker IV was able to contribute 12 points, and Kendrick Nunn had 15 points for the Lakers. So the loss condemns the Lakers to just 10 wins and 14 losses to the start of the season, while for the Toronto Raptors, they are now 13 wins and 12 losses to the start of the season. The Toronto Raptors will be taking on the Orlando Magic on Friday, while for the Los Angeles Lakers, it is Philadelphia 76ers. They will be taking on Friday as well. Now that's a matchup you should expect to produce fireworks, especially if Anthony Davis will make a return or LeBron James will make a return for the Lakers. Let's talk basketball now with the Boston Celtics, the best team in the NBA. I said it earlier, Jason Tatum as well as Jaylen Brown can do no wrong at this point in time. Both players contributed, or combined rather, for 50 points as the Boston Celtics blew out their the next best team when it comes to the NBA season, especially in the Western Conference, the Phoenix Suns. That was a blowout win, 125 to 98 points. It ended as Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown scored 25 points apiece. You had Malcolm Brogdon contributing 16 points for the Boston Celtics as well. For the Phoenix Suns, it was a match that saw Chris Paul, known as the point guard, make a return after missing the last 14 games due to a sore right heel, but was only able to amass 4 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists during the course of his time on the court. Josh Okogie top scored for the Suns with 28 points. You had Devin Booker stifled by the defense of the Celtics. It was limited to 17 points right there. For the Suns, they are now 16 wins and 9 losses to the start of the season. But the Boston Celtics, the win is their eighth win, was their eighth win in the last 9 matches, 9 games, and that means they have the best record in the NBA with 21 wins and just 5 losses. They will be taking on the Golden State Warriors next on Saturday, and I'm sure they will fancy their chances of getting a victory right there. While for the Suns, it will be the New Orleans Pelicans on Friday as well. Now, that's a match that is definitely a difficult one